The once unshakable draw of Donald Trump's rallies appears to be fading. A little more than a week out from the next presidential election, Trump, the official Republican nominee, is struggling to draw the kind of crowds that once defined his political image. His claim to fame, his ability to rally a massive audience, seems under serious strain as empty seats and early exits from supporters paint a troubling picture of waning enthusiasm. At his recent rally in Pennsylvania, the Penn State arena saw an unexpectedly sparse crowd, an image that has circulated online and fueled speculation that Trump's magnetism might be slipping. For a leader who prides himself on filling arenas, these visuals are more than just a bad look. They could be a bellwether of a broader issue within his campaign. But what does this mean for the upcoming election? Is this dip in turnout merely an anomaly, or does it signal a critical loss of momentum? In this video, we'll dive deep into the incidents that have contributed to Trump's ultimate humiliation and explore how his recent struggles could impact his chances of regaining the White House. Trump's struggles to fill arenas, a new reality for the former president. For Trump supporters, a rally isn't just a political event. It's a celebration, an opportunity to gather, cheer, and fuel their collective ambitions for the future. Over the years, Trump's rallies have been something of a phenomenon. But at his latest Penn State rally, this enthusiasm seemed dimmed. Penn State's arena was filled with pockets of empty seats, and the crowd, although present, was notably thinner than one might expect for a Republican frontrunner. For Trump, whose reputation has largely hinged on his ability to rally large crowds, this is more than a superficial image problem. Attendance numbers have a psychological impact, influencing public perception and potentially signaling a decline in voter enthusiasm. Political analysts are taking note of the fact that Trump's once unshakable draw seems less magnetic. So, what's causing this drop in attendance? While some might argue that rally attendance doesn't necessarily reflect actual voter turnout, there's no denying that it's a red flag, especially given Trump's central theme of filling arenas as proof of his popularity and mass appeal. Comparing rally crowds, a closer look at recent events. To fully understand the significance of Trump's dwindling rally crowds, it's helpful to compare his numbers to those of other political events. At a recent rally for Kamala Harris in Texas, the crowd was estimated at over 30,000, an impressive turnout, especially for a candidate who has often been portrayed as less charismatic than Trump. There were no blocked-off seats or empty sections, and the sheer energy of the crowd was palpable. On the other hand, at Trump's rally, not only were sections empty, but a significant portion of attendees were reported to have left before the rally concluded. Even in Michigan, a state that has traditionally been a stronghold for Trump, he reportedly kept supporters waiting in the cold for hours, only to leave them feeling frustrated and unsatisfied. These contrasts paint a stark picture. While Trump's rallies seem to be shrinking, his opponents are drawing robust crowds. This doesn't just impact optics. It can potentially sway undecided voters who look to these events as indicators of a candidate's popularity. Trump's response: excuses and blame shifting. True to form, Trump hasn't taken these disappointing rally turnouts without offering explanations. During a rally in Michigan, where he was caught on camera acknowledging the people leaving mid-speech, Trump was quick to claim that they were simply leaving due to flight delays or other external factors. In his words, "Nobody leaves. They know when I'm about to wrap up." However, this insistence rings hollow for many who were present at the rally and saw people leaving well before the event ended. The more Trump tries to spin these empty seats as inconsequential, the more it reveals his desperation to maintain the image of his loyal fan base. As more images and videos surface of people leaving or sections of arenas going unfilled, Trump's credibility on the matter is increasingly called into question. Economic policies and their role in waning support. One critical issue affecting Trump's popularity could be his economic policies, specifically his insistence on tariffs. Throughout his campaign, Trump has proposed tariffs as a way to strengthen American manufacturing and penalize countries like China, But many experts warn that these tariffs may backfire, leading to increased prices for consumers. Despite Trump's assurances, tariffs ultimately function as a tax on American companies that import foreign goods. When these companies incur additional costs due to tariffs, they often pass those expenses down to the consumer. For working Americans already grappling with inflation, the idea of additional price hikes doesn't sit well. Voters are starting to recognize that Trump's economic strategies, rather than relieving their financial burdens, may exacerbate them. Kamala Harris's policy proposals, a stark contrast. Kamala Harris has also been active on the campaign trail, and her rallies provide a stark contrast to Trump's struggling events. In response to high food costs, Harris has proposed a national law to prevent price gouging, specifically targeting large corporations that exploit inflation to boost profits. Moreover, Harris has unveiled an ambitious housing plan that includes building 3 million new homes and providing $25,000 to first-time homebuyers. This initiative aims to ease the housing crisis, giving new families the chance to build wealth. The differences between Harris's policy-driven approach and Trump's tariff-centered plan are significant. For undecided voters, or even some Trump supporters feeling the economic pinch, Harris's proposals might seem increasingly appealing. A campaign defined by spectacle over substance? Trump's political brand has always relied on spectacle. His rallies are big, his words are bold, and his promises are, to say the least, ambitious. Yet, as his crowd sizes dwindle, it's becoming clear that spectacle may no longer be enough to hold onto his base. People are seeking concrete solutions to real issues, from food prices to housing affordability, and Trump's reliance on tariffs and divisive rhetoric may not provide the answers they're looking for. The energy at Trump's rallies once captivated his supporters, but now, with economic struggles affecting so many, some voters may be growing tired of empty promises. Without fresh, actionable policies to address these issues, Trump risks alienating even his most loyal base, who are starting to realize that the show might not be worth the cost. What smaller crowds could mean for Election Day? With the election just around the corner, Trump's lackluster rally attendance could be a sign of trouble. Smaller crowds can indicate waning enthusiasm, which might translate into lower voter turnout. In politics, perception often becomes reality. If voters believe that Trump's support is slipping, it might impact undecided voters or encourage Republican voters to stay home. Furthermore, Trump's difficulties in addressing these optics have made him look increasingly vulnerable. The more he denies the empty seats, the more it seems like he's trying to convince himself of his enduring popularity. For a candidate who once thrived on his image as an undeniable force, this shift could be a fatal weakness in the final days of the campaign. Trump's recent rallies paint a picture of a candidate grappling with fading enthusiasm. The once electric crowds are thinning, leaving him vulnerable in an election that hinges on voter turnout. While his policies on tariffs and economic matters have provided sound bites, they haven't necessarily provided the solutions many Americans are looking for. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is drawing significant crowds and pushing a clear, tangible agenda. Trump's ultimate humiliation may well be his inability to fill the arenas that once symbolized his movement's strength. If his rallies continue to empty out, it won't just be an optical issue. It could represent the beginning of a broader shift among the very voters who once propelled him to the White House. Whether his campaign can rebound remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. The Trump brand might be facing its most significant test yet. For a candidate whose image has always been larger than life, the sight of empty seats may mark the ultimate indignity.